Hey everyone, welcome to What's Cooking in the Payments Kitchen. And today we have a very hot simmering topic for you, and that's definitely been going in the merchants' minds. So, should you go direct with your payment partner or add another layer in between? And joining us today is Kisalay, the head of engineering of merchant business at PhonePe. And let's hear from Kisalay how him and his team are delivering the best experiences for our merchants.
Thank you so much, Pallavi, for hosting me. Hi, everyone. I'm Kisalay. I am one of the head of engineering here at PhonePe. I look at overall merchant tech, both across offline payment solutions, online payment solutions, overall end-to-end experiences for the merchants, right from their onboarding, KYC, audit controls, to all the touch points that we have with the merchants and their payment flows, both for the offline merchants and online merchants. We cater to some of the smallest merchants, the kirana shops, to some of the largest online businesses, and everybody in between.
Kisley, a lot of merchants today start with simplicity in mind. One dashboard, one integration, one layer to manage all their payment providers. It sounds neat on paper, but what's the engineering reality of having multiple moving parts between your business and your payment processors?
Excellent question, Pallavi. I think payment aggregators over a period of time have solved multitude of problems for the end merchants, right? Right from aggregating all the payment gateways themselves, providing different transactions and different modes for the merchants to process their transactions on. Plus giving a very seamless checkout experience for their consumers, for giving different services like tokenization, and other VAS around this thing. All of that put together, right, creates a very potent payment solutions for the merchants. And I think the best combination works when the merchants work directly with their payment aggregators, right? To ensure that the end consumer experience is taken care of, and also the money flows and the recon paths are also stitched properly for them.
So that's actually pretty great, Kisley. But when something breaks in the payment flow, let's say a failed transaction, a delay in refunds, probably an odd spike in failure rate, the big question becomes who is accountable? How hard it is to troubleshoot when your gateway isn't directly plugged into your stack?
So payment aggregators, as I said earlier as well, their bread and butter is to ensure the right closure of every transaction that happens, right? And at PhonePe, our triest day in and day out is to provide that reliable stack to our merchants and consumers where they can trust completely on the transaction processing systems for taking their every transactions to a closure. And behind the scenes, a lot of heavy lifting is happening by our core recon transaction and accounting systems to take each one of these transactions to a logical closure. And in that triest, right, I think it works best when we at PhonePe are working directly with our merchants to ensure all the loose ends on the flows are stitched in timely fashion. And not working with intermediaries.
If I'm a merchant CTO today, what are the signs that I'm ready to move closer to my payment partner and more of the integration directly, especially when you care about speed, reliability, and customer trust?
I think across the life cycle and life journey of merchant evolving from a very small and niche ecosystem player to one of the largest merchants, right, and businesses. I think at every milestone of their journey, it makes sense always to work very closely and directly with your payment aggregators. There is no tipping point that happens, right, and the more closely you're working with your trusted payment aggregators, the more you understand the nuances and also ensure that they understand the nuances of your payments funnel, right? And they are optimizing for the conversions, for the closure of transactions, for ensuring that their innovations are getting used to generate the extra flip on your business directly, rather than getting gatekeeped by somebody else in between.
Correct. So most people still think payment gateway as a pipe, but at scale, it's a partner, one that shares uptimes, goals, SLAs, and outcomes. What changes when merchants stop treating payments as a commodity and start treating them as a competitive advantage?
Very good question, actually, right? And this we have seen from our own consumer base, right? And the one reason, right, how PhonePe has done and why it has been able to break away from the pack is very simple reason of reliability, very low latency, right, and very predictable experience that it gives to its consumers directly, right? And the same ethos we have carried forward for each one of our merchants who we work with, right? And that is the key takeaway for the merchants as well, right? The more deeply they take care of these very subtle experiences that their consumers are getting on their checkout experience, the better is their retention on those merchants, right? On those consumers. I think one broken payment, one broken delivery, and one broken experience at the end will be the tipping point for them, right? So not giving that option at all, and working with someone who does this for hundreds of millions of times a day, right, is the key for them to realize on whom to bet. So I'll give an example on this one, right? From PhonePe, right, we integrate with different banks to settle to our merchants, right? And we are settling to millions of merchants, thousands of crores of money every day, right? And this we do directly integrating with the partner banks that we work with to move the funds to our merchants, right? And this is the final leg of the payment, right? This is the final settlement that we are giving to the merchants working with different banks. And in that scenario, right, it is not that the banks remain kosher, right? They also operate a very convoluted tech stack, right? Their central banking system is in path, right? And there are days when they have, right, temperamental and on and off issues, right? On in terms of their availability, their SLAs, right, their uptime. But it is we understand that, right, that they are doing the heavy lifting in this case, and we work very diligently with them to understand the issues that they are encountering. How do we together solve them, right? And we extract the maximum out of the partnership that we have with those banks. The reason of that, right, is in due long term, right, we have extracted a lot of benefit from this mutual relationship that we have struck with the banks to ensure that we are clocking almost 99% availability on their APIs in core settlements, which is kind of unheard of, right? So each one of these long-term relationships that we have struck, I think, has worked wonders. And from a merchant standpoint, I would advocate for the same, right? The more they work, the more they invest into these relationships, right? These nuances that we encounter with each of the merchants can be ironed out much reliably, right? And that is what will actually give a lot of benefit to the merchants at the end.
All right, now that we have handled all the heavy stuff, it's time for a quick fun wrap up.
Please bring it up.
Uptime or new feature?
Uptime.
One tech stack that you love working with?
I think at PhonePe over a period of time, we have built quite robust tech stacks. I think the eventing observability tech stack, Foxtrot, our kill switch, right, as a platform, These two stand out as my primary tech stack that I love to work with.
Coffee or chai during incident war rooms?
Coffee, any day.
Most underrated part of a payment stack?
Recon.
Favorite moment of a high pressure deployment?
I think this happened a month ago when we were doing our DR, right? And over a period of time, it has been a fruit of multiple years of work when overall payment stack, all the transaction processing have moved into a neatly orchestrated DR like a symphony. And just to see that happen over a period of time has been really worthwhile for me.
One thing you wish merchants knew about payments?
The overall reliability of the transaction, of the fund flows, the end-to-end closure of the transactions is a critical piece for any worthwhile outcome for the merchants and their consumers.
If PhonePe PG was a dish, what would it be?
I think dal makhani comes close as a paddle, right? It has evolved over a period of time. Consistent, delivers every time that we serve it, has secret recipes associated, right, of how we deliver it hundreds of millions of times every day with the same reliable outcome.
One line of advice for merchants scaling payment.
Reliability, predictability, right, being a very boring part of their business, right, and that is how they should look at the core payments funnel, right, of that delivers every time. And then how do they partner, how do they work, whom they choose to work with, right? I think these are some of the questions that merchants should delve into to deliver this experience for their end customers.
The hack for building the best team.
I think this is a good one, right? At PhonePe, we have been blessed to work with some of the smartest people in the industry. And there is no secret recipe or magic wand for this. I think what we have developed over a period of time is to look for raw smarts, for the right aptitude and attitude, more importantly, for the people who are joining us, and then invest into them dearly.
Kisalay, thank you so much for
Thank you so
joining us
much.
today. It was very insightful.
My pleasure.
And the merchants scaling out there, keep an eye out for our next episode.